I'm going to give this a go to pronounce from the organization of Yer Cizenler. I'm sorry if I get the pronunciation terrible. It's my Australian
That
accent. I'll
that
blame
was
it.
very good.
Okay, thanks. I've got an inside tip. And Oz, thank you very much for joining us today. So I'll hand over to you now to take it away.
Hello, thank you. Let me share my screen. It seems right.
Yep, we got you clearly. Go for it.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is safe and healthy. I'm Moz from Istanbul, Turkey. I'm responsible for volunteers and communications in a local NGO called Yer Cizenler Mapping for Everyone Association, and I'm also a micro-grantee of Hot Community Impact Program. Our micro-grant project aims volunteer activation and creating Turkish documentation about OpenStreetMap related tools and documents. Today I'm going to talk about who Yer Cizenler is, what do we want to achieve, why did we decide to create a documentation for community impact, and activities and statistics of project, challenges we faced and overcame, and experience share about the translation process, and lastly, the project's early outcomes. So, Yer Cizenler has been operating since 2017 and supports open and free use of geographic data for humanitarian purposes. We are also part of OpenStreetMap Turkish community and have been collaborating with the HOT since we were founded. We have 36 members and 22 of them are women. We are really proud of our gender equality. Before answering the why documentation question, I want to start the story from the beginning when I was an attendee of HOT Summit Heidelberg last year. That was the first time that I participated in a conference about OpenStreetMap and humanitarian mapping. I attended many enlightening workshops, and one of them was about Weekly OSM. If you don't know what Weekly OSM is, it's a newsletter about OpenStreetMap updates all around the world, and now it has been published in 14 languages. After returned back to Turkey from summit, we started to translate Turkish edition of Weekly OSM with core team of Yer Cizenler and volunteers. So this workshop was the seed of the idea of creating documents in Turkish. So now, why documentation? We know that the Turkish OpenStreetMap community continues to grow, and Turkish OpenStreetMap documents do not meet this potential. Members of the community previously addressed this issue and have asked Yer Cizenler to take initiative. We understand that if we have more detailed documents, it will support the newcomers' orientation and also community's knowledge. So this was the main reason to start from the documents and tools. And also it's helpful to spread the idea of open and free geodata and to increase the local community's knowledge about OpenStreetMap standards and to make the community more linked to international OpenStreetMap communities. Before starting the project, we communicated and decided to carry out the program with another local NGO called Yer Cizenler Association. I want to thank Yer Cizenler Association for their precious effort. So until now, we have organized 5 online workshops, 5 interviews, where we host guests from Turkish and international OpenStreetMap community, and more than 100 people have participated in those activities. We held weekly coordination meetings, asynchronous translation sessions, and also at our events, we talked about open source and wiki philosophy, Wikipedia, OpenStreetMap, obviously, community culture, licenses, and lastly, women's participation and role in OpenStreetMap community. Here is a screenshot from one of our weekly coordination meetings where we hosted Trudy from Hotboard. Thanks, Trudy, to being our guest and for the inspiring talk. So let's look at the numbers of the project. We arranged 5 mapathons and hands-on workshops about Transifex, ID Editor, MapRoulette, and Wikipedia, and OSMBC, which is content management system of Weekly OSM. but we mainly used Transifex for our translation effort and completed the translation of ID editor and also reached 75% of Maplet's localization. So far, the team translated nearly 55,000 words and over than 8,000 scripts. And in the continuation of the project, we aim to add Turkish language support to the other tools, other OpenStreetMap related tools like JASM, Vespucci, or UMap. So this is the important part of my presentation. The first and the biggest challenge that I faced is motivating the volunteer group. I never had education about volunteer relations, and it's not like an employer-employee relation or colleague relations. And it depends on the aims of your project, the common grounds of the team, like average age or professions or ideals. But regardless of these parameters, there are three basic things that I can suggest you to keep the team's motivation high. The first one is regular and sustainable communication. It's essential to keep clear communication in order to understand their worries and thoughts and have useful feedback. The second one is keeping it fun instead of repetitive patterns. It's too basic. And the third one, give real life examples to make them realize that the skills you bring to them are useful. This is also important. And the second challenge is capability. You should know your team's capability. If you overwhelm them with bigger steps, it can turn back as lack of motivation. Like when we started the program, we were aiming to translate also Learn OSM, but after examining the document in depth, we realized that the people who would translate it into Turkish should be a team of experienced cartographers who have command of OpenStreetMap data structure and has to familiar with community culture. So these are my suggestions to you. And the project early outcomes. I'm calling it early because it's still ongoing project, but I can explain the impact of the project on a real life example. Last month, a 6.9 magnitude earthquake hit the agency, and Izmir, which is the third biggest city in Turkey, was the most affected city in those area. While carrying out the mapathons for earthquake activation, I saw that the beginner level participants understand what to do in less time while they using the tools and documents in their own language. And also their overall contribution was more than the previous events or past mapathons. Before ending the talk, I want to ask a favor from you. If you have any suggestion or if you know any useful tool that works for this aim, please write it to me from the survey link, or you can scan the QR code. Thank you for listening to me. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much for that wonderful presentation and right on time. So we really appreciate that. And I can say personally, I think your organization is also the one I've contributed most to in Tasking Manager in total, actually, since those ones. So thanks for the projects. We appreciate you putting them up there on Tasking Manager. Great. Okay, so moving right along to our next speaker. Mohammed, I'm going to ask you to take the microphone. Mohammed is joining us today from University of Twente. 20, I think I've pronounced that correctly. And yeah, I appreciate you joining, Mohammed, and over to you.
Thank you very much. And I hope you can see my presentation now.
Yep, we can. Well, I can see it. Yes.
Okay. Thank you for organizing this amazing event. And yeah, I am currently an alumni of Faculty of Geoinformation Science and Earth Observation at ITC in the Netherlands. And currently I am looking for a PhD positions to lead my research, which I'm going to discuss today. So my research is about to create a dashboard that could lead to a better quality compliance of OpenStreetMap, specifically for humanitarian actions. And yeah, my potential